Got to teach your kids, especially your kids that are hanging out with rich white kids. That is not good. You gotta stop letting them hang out with rich white kids. This Nolan Wells situation never should have happened. The parents of Nolan Wells should have known better than to let him hang out with these kids. I have an older son. I'm not saying it's the parents' fault, but I'm just saying it happens all the time.
As a former prosecutor, I'm shocked a sitting judge would do this. Judge Ashley Cole, the mom of one of the men who was with Nolan Wells, got on Facebook claiming she wanted to dispel rumors with facts, and then laid out this whole timeline of what she says are facts of what went down that day, even though she wasn't there, and this is still an active investigation.
We are receiving new updates on the late Nolan Wells case, and it's not looking good for his friends. A Mississippi judge believes a lot of people should be arrested already, yet they are all walking freely. One of Nolan Wells' friends have conducted an interview with Rolling Stone. At the same time, white folks are outraged over how the case is being treated. Nolan Wells' friend's mother has come to speak on Facebook, and it's rather adding more salt to injury. Shout out to Miss Mary David, a former prosecutor. She gave us this.
As a former prosecutor, I'm shocked a sitting judge would do this. Judge Ashley Cole, the mom of one of the men who was with Nolan Wells before he was found dead, got on Facebook claiming she wanted to dispel rumors with facts, and then laid out this whole timeline of what she says are facts of what went down that day, even though she wasn't there, and this is still an active death investigation. A judge commenting could influence or intimidate witnesses before they've even spoken to investigators. That is exactly what you don't want in an active investigation. It's the reason judges are held to a different ethical standard. When you're a sitting judge, you're not just another parent on Facebook. This is exactly the type of situation the Mississippi Code of Judicial Conduct is designed to prevent. Judges are expected to uphold public confidence in the judiciary, remain impartial, and avoid not just acting improperly, but even appearing to act improperly. None of this is okay.
If everything she's saying is true, then it is crazy that Miss Ashley Cole actually wrote this. Let's take a look at what she wrote. Our family, along with the community, grieves the loss of Nolan Wells. Our thoughts and prayers are with Nolan's family. Our son, Warren, loved Nolan dearly. Unfortunately, I feel that it's appropriate for our family to dispel some rumors with facts based on the social media attention that is being diverted away from the Wells family. Yes, I deactivated my Facebook account. That is crazy. Given the very heightening emotional state of social media right now, I fear for the safety of my child and my children. My husband and I have 6 children, and we covet their privacy. We do not believe it's appropriate for our minor children's photographs to be circulated throughout the internet, presenting potential threats to their safety. I graduated high school with Christian Wells Lonsley. We are from the same community. I have the utmost respect for her and all of Wells' family. We mourn the loss of Nolan with them. Our prayers have been and will continue to be with them. My husband and I were not at Hunt Island at any point on 4th of July. No one in our family is trying in any way to impede with the investigation by law enforcement or to otherwise hamper the family and law enforcement's quest for answers. Warren was interviewed by Jackson County Sheriff Department and cooperated fully. He saw Nolan last at around 3 p.m. on July 4th. They left around 4:30 p.m. when the boat was taken on water and they had an issue with the bilge pump. Hold on, what? How did you know all this when you were not there? She initially said that she has no intention of tampering with law enforcement and with the investigation. Meanwhile, she is actually giving details over here. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and returned inland later with another group of friends. How did you know this if you were not there? Yes, I'm a judge. I also value transparency. Then maybe you should let the investigative department do their job. I apologize if anyone was offended that I deleted my social media. Nobody is offended. There were no nefarious motivation in my deleting my social media. Social media has a lot of positives, but a whole lot of negatives. We live in a world of clickbaiting, sad but true. Because you coming here as a judge and giving these details is like you trying to direct the investigators as to what to pay attention to rather than they doing their own findings. There are regulations that restrict judges from doing what she just did.
Did y'all hear one of Nolan's real friends speaking about what he believes happened? Listen to this.
I know that friend group that he was with is known for, I don't know if I can say the substance, but they're known for doing a certain substance. And, some of us who have spoke to Nolan prior to the island date, we know that they were known for doing that substance. Another thing that we believe is, what if they peer pressured him into doing something? And again, with a mixture of alcohol and...
This is allegedly, y'all. This is allegedly. And Jesus just giving us his synopsis of what he feels. So allegedly, Jesus, you got to remember when you're getting on these panels, you got to say allegedly because somebody will try to wrap you up.
Allegedly coming from his friend group that knows him very well. I'm talking about teammates that played with him, went to school with him, and folks that see him every weekend. Allegedly, we believe that maybe something just didn't go the way they wanted it to. Maybe they were trying to have a little bit too much fun, and it was just a mistake that they covered up. But I know for a fact that friend group that they were with is known for a certain substance. So it does not surprise me whatsoever. And I'm almost certainly confident, allegedly, that there was that substance on that boat.
And how do you say some things are facts when investigators have not proven it? Because everything you are saying here that you said is facts are not from the investigation. She started messaging people on Facebook regarding what they are talking about. Here is what she said. We got screenshots. Good evening, Mr. Roldown. I am Warren's mother, the woman you have been talking about on Facebook and posting pictures of our family. I'm here to tell you that we all Nolan and are deeply distraught. I believe she's saying we all love Nolan. Okay. Your information is not correct. And I ask you to please stop posting about Warren and our family. You're a judge, right? Sue him. Why are you in his DM, like, messaging all these things? Like, it's a lot. Let's just continue reading. He says, I'm here to tell you that we all Nolan and we are deeply distraught. Your information is not correct. And I ask you to please stop posting about Warren and our family. My son did not ride out with him, nor did he come back with him. That is crazy. Meanwhile, you previously said that your son was in the same boat with him and their boat was actually flooding. That's contradictory to me. But the boat that Nolan was supposed to get on, Wyatt's boat, he repeatedly asked Nolan to get on boat at 5 when it was time to leave. But Nolan wanted to stay with a girl and their boat was parked next to his. He was insistent about staying with his girl. Here you said 5. The previous time you said 3 and then 4. I don't know if it is just me, but I'm seeing contradictions here. Wyatt asked him several times to please get on the boat, and people heard him. My son loves him and would never in a million years leave him. Warren does not have a boat. Nolan has been our house several times and he is the sweetest friend. Again, when Wyatt asked for him to get on, he said he wanted to stay, and Wyatt's boat started to fill with water. I'm a little confused. If Wyatt was not on the same boat with Nolan, and Nolan's boat was filling with water initially in your statement, how did Wyatt's boat now begin to fill with water? I'm just a little confused here. You can clarify in the comment section for me, but I am a little bit confused. His boat ended up breaking down and was towed in. I don't know this girl that he wanted to stay with. I can just tell you though, my son had nothing to do with it in any way, shape or form. Matter of fact, he was the first person that noticed he was missing when they got back to their friend's house and called his mother, the Coast Guard, and the sheriff's office. I really don't know the point in all writing all these things in somebody's DM. It's almost like you really want something out there so bad that you have to end up speaking in people's DM and speaking all over. It doesn't make any sense to me. Warren is very responsible and also is keeping up with everyone else. He was not on the boat again. Please stop hurting us. My son is beside himself. I have never seen him like this before, and I ask you to please stop the blame. This man is not the police. He has not captured your son. Why are you asking him to stop the blame? You are speaking your mind, right? You posted your thoughts and what you think of it on social media. Somebody is also here with a microphone and speaking his mind and what he thinks of it. As a judge, I'm thinking that maybe you should know better than be speaking like this on social media. As a judge, I believe you are supposed to know that there is freedom of speech. As a judge, you should be able to trust in the system, in the court system, and trust that if your son is truly innocent, he'll be proven innocent in the court of law. So saying all these things on social media and taunting people in their DMs is not going to solve the issue. If you as a judge does not trust the court system, then what are we doing? This is not the boy's fault. Nolan wanted to stay with this girl and was insistent. I asked you to take my picture down off of your wall and my son. I brought my other son out there and I saw my son Warren briefly and took a picture that we were not out there with them longer than like 10 minutes. Hold on. I thought you said you and your husband. Hold on. Did I read wrong? Did I read? Nigga, what? You said your husband and yourself were never on the Horn Island. All of a sudden, you brought your other son. You brought your other son there to take pictures. What? Can you please stop talking? I don't know how you are trying to link it all together. It's actually linked all together. But I'm just Warren's mother, and I love Nolan very much. He comes to my house several times, and I'm so sad. The fact that he comes to your house doesn't mean anything. Please keep this down and look for this on prayers, finding him. Also, I just want to let you know that this whole day we've been looking for him. It has been devastating. I don't even know any of this was being said. I'm going to get off social media. I was advised as this is very destructive. I just ask you, please, take it down, as I don't want us to get any more message about this. This is crazy. I don't know why she's so desperate to vindicate her son on social media rather than letting the investigative team do their job. It's crazy. So, Lowdown asks him, hi Cardi, has any of this been told to the law enforcement, along with descriptions of the girl that he allegedly stayed behind for? And she did not reply. Because if you are saying all these things, then you should be able to speak it to the law enforcement. I mean, as a judge, my God, lady, please, just stop talking.
You know what is so crazy to me about seeing another black boy be unalived in this country is all over my feed, I'm seeing these black creators talking about it, grieving about it. I'm seeing these comments of people, being here for each other. And I know that right now, as I'm looking at that content, those moms of those white boys in Mississippi are all trying to figure out a way to keep them out of jail or to keep them without consequences. Instead of getting to the bottom of it, getting the real answers, getting the real proper truth, finding out what happened, because white women are disappointing. So, I don't know. I believe we can do better, but...
Coming from a white lady, that is insane. That is really diabolical. Queen, not Gwen, is the one who made these statements.
New evidence has just come out in the Nolan Wells case that proves that he was murdered by those three men. There was a pool party that took place after the island, and you can see clearly in Evan's Instagram post, Nolan is there. Witnesses have put out statements saying that an altercation took place between Nolan, Evan, and two other boys, and the boys proceeded to beat Nolan to death with a metal bar and urinate on him. And all those people there watched and did nothing about it. They are no better than the people that killed him. The reason that Nolan's phone pinged on the island is because they went back and they dumped his body after they killed him. These men need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law because they murdered Nolan Wells. Nolan Wells was murdered. Say his name.
I don't think this guy has evidence to back what he's saying, so we're going to keep everything he said. Henry, you're going to keep everything you said alleged, okay? And you cannot say these things on social media without evidence. I mean, in as much as we all want justice for Nolan, if you have evidence of these things, you know the appropriate places to take them to. So we are just going to keep this alleged. But yes, for the picture that he showed, you can actually see Nolan in it, even though they were saying that Nolan wasn't part of the party that they went to and all of that. In the picture that came out, you can actually see Nolan in the back of it, okay, in the pool. So that debunks that notion right there.
All right, y'all, things are happening in the Nolan Wells case, and some of them change what we thought we knew from before. So let's get into it. All right, in my earlier video, one of them, I referenced that viral argument video. I've shared the video, and I also talked about what was said about the video in the press conference. And Ben Crump said at the press conference that Nolan can be heard in that video saying, "Give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing?" And that is what he said at the press conference. But new reporting has come out that actually directly contradicts that claim. And I wanted to address it here because I can't even believe this, but like there are millions of views on these videos. And I just want to make sure that like as facts come out, that's what we're talking about because I'm trying to deal in facts over here. There's just so much going on with this case. All right, so Trayston Shepard, who is a close friend of Nolan's that was on Horn Island that day as well, he spoke to Rolling Stone and he said on the record, "That's my voice, that's not Nolan's," and his actual exact words are quoted, "Those were not Nolan's words, they were mine." So he says the video captured a completely different argument between him and another person. Nolan wasn't even visible in the recording. He says Nolan was off in the water elsewhere, like he was fine at that point. He wasn't arguing with anybody. And as we know, and as I've seen his friends, his family, everybody said that he was a very peaceful person, that he was non-confrontational. I don't know that we can say the same about Trayson Shepherd. This kid is 20 years old. He got into it with his girlfriend, apparently. Somebody, I think, was walking by and he said criticized his either handling of that argument or the argument in general. They started getting into it. His family tries to get him back on the boat. He says that what was going on was he was yelling, "Get me off this fucking boat," because he wanted to get back on the island and apparently fight whoever this was that he was getting into it with. So he says for sure that argument was all me. That Nolan had nothing to do with that.
This is Tyrella off record. So yeah, the Rolling Stone interview that she talked about is here. We're going to read it real quick. A moment that started out as a disagreement between Trayson Shepherd and his girlfriend has been at the center of a swirl of questions about the tragic death of 18-year-old Mississippi football player Nolan Wells. The video posted to social media of a group of young people seemingly in a heated altercation has been believed to be the last time Wells was pictured or heard on video before his disappearance and death, which has made national news. But Shepherd, a close friend of Wells, says what really happened in the video isn't how it's been portrayed. For context, I'll play that video they are talking about for you to see if you can hear anything. At around 3:30 p.m. on July 4th, Shepherd says he was with a large group of friends from high school, including Wells, to celebrate the holiday. Shepherd and his family took a boat over to Horn Island. So Shepherd is a different friend from Wyatt, the one that the mother is a judge and she's been. The friend often took the 45 minutes ride over to Horn Island on weekends to hang out and had been there since that morning. Shepherd says he was waist deep in the water surrounding Horn Island, having a disagreement with his girlfriend, when a young man his age walked by and criticized their conversation. The man was an acquaintance from a nearby town who had not come over on the boat with Shepherd or Wells. I told him he needed to mind his own business. Shepherd says the exchange became heated and that he and the other man ended up getting into a physical altercation. Shepherd's uncle, who had raised him like a father, told Shepherd to get out of the water and onto his boat so they could head back home. Shepherd complied, but once he got on the boat, he changed his mind and decided he wanted to go back. Shepherd's friends by that point began defending him back on the shore. Around this time, another adult on the nearby boat started filming the video, later posting it on social media after news of Wells' disappearance broke. In that video, you hear somebody yelling, "That's me," Shepherd says. "It's me yelling. My exact wording is, 'Get me off this effing boat. I want to fight.' And I had felt like I hadn't had my fair share." So he's basically saying that in that video where everybody felt like it is Nolan shouting and talking on top of his voice, it's actually he, Shepherd, talking, that he wanted to go back and do the fighting again. Okay, so that is a debunking. I respect that, but did you tell this to the police? Because they are the ones investigating, not Rolling Stone. He continues, he wanted to get off the boat and go fight the dude who he was getting into with, says the family friend who asked not to be named. Nobody knows what Trackerston was saying better than me because he was screaming it in my face. Okay, so this family friend was there in the boat when Trackerston was actually saying he wanted to get off the boat and go fight. You know, all of that. Okay. 369 Conscious has something to say.
Got to teach your kids, especially your kids that are hanging out with rich white kids. That is not good. You got to stop letting them hang out with rich white kids. This Nolan Wells situation never should have happened. The parents of Nolan Wells should have known better than to let him hang out with these kids. I have an older son. I'm not saying it's the parents' fault, but I'm just saying it happens all the time. My older son is half black. He looked more black than he did half, but he got into a similar situation. He was fighting with a bunch of rich kids in North Atlanta, the North Atlanta suburbs, the richest neighborhood in Cherokee County, Georgia. And he was fighting with a bunch of boys over a girl. And lucky for him, he didn't wind up dead. He just wound up locked up for a while, but it could have wound up with him being killed. And, we as parents, we have to do a better job in informing our children about who they should and shouldn't hang out with, because matters. The color of your skin matters, especially when you're hanging out with a bunch of rich kids that have, doctors and lawyers and judges as parents. You know that your kid is going to either wind up locked up or dead. So my heart goes out to Nolan Wells' family. I really hate that it happened to him, but you gotta protect your children. because white people will kill your children at the drop of a hat. That's just the way it is, especially these entitled little rich white kids.
Now, this is Judge Carlson Moore from Mississippi, okay? He has some things to say. Let's listen to him real quick.
I'm Judge Carlos Moore. I'm a retired municipal judge out of Mississippi. I served for 6.5 years on the bench in not only Clarksdale, Mississippi, but I served for 4 years on the bench in Grenada, Mississippi. Is there enough right now for arrest warrants for murder? That is a good question. I do know at this point there should have been search warrants signed by a judge. Evidence should have been presented to a judge by now. We are nearly 7 days after July the 4th, when he was first reported missing. There should have been evidence submitted by Jackson County law enforcement agents, the Sheriff's Department specifically, presented to a judge so that search warrants could be signed by the judge, and there needs to be, or should have been, someone questioning the young men, the 3 so-called friends, and others, and the social media accounts need to be searched by now, or at least a search warrant should have been issued for the appropriate entities to give the law enforcement access to the social media information. That should have been done by now. I'm not telling you what I imagine. I'm telling you what the process usually is when you're trying to do a thorough investigation. And based on what's revealed from a thorough investigation, I do believe once the evidence is secured, it's going to lead, and it should lead, to the arrest of one or more individuals for the murder of Nolan Wells. What I do know is, had the roles been reversed, by now, there would likely have been already arrests made. It wouldn't have taken all 6 days, 7 days, whatever the amount of days it's going to take. Had the roles been reversed, justice, the wheels of justice spin quickly. Somebody would have been arrested for something by now. But since the roles are what they are, we are expected to be patient, and they're going to cross every T and they're going to dot every I in the investigation before they make a move because of the people that are potentially involved. And that's the way the criminal justice system works, unfortunately.
Let me know what you think of this in the comment section. Let us all trust the legal system. The judge is not trusting the legal system. I mean, the female judge, Ashley, is not trusting the legal system. That's disappointing. I wish she could just trust the legal system if indeed she believes that the son is innocent. At the end of the day, I believe strongly that we'll get justice for Nolan Wells. Hey, thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for watching till the end. I appreciate you. YouTube actually thinks you love this video more, so click on it and I'll see you there.